Welcome back to World of Warships Legends with Derka. The Kaga is the first premium carrier to sail onto the console and mobile version of the game, and everyone is curious how she stacks up to the tech tree ships, Parseval, Lexington, Shikaku, Implacable. She definitely has a few gimmicks that set her apart, and today we're going to cover 5 reasons why I think Kaga is the dominant aircraft carrier at Tier 7. Without wasting any time, let's get to it. So our commander is Yamaguchi, with a focus on making the torpedo bombers great and a little extra fire chance for the dive bombers. Tanaka and Swirski are what we went with to help buff the concealment and the torpedoes a little bit more. If you had Space Fishy, that would be a solid choice. Finally, the modules: flight control, air groups, concealment, and air groups again to help buff the low aircraft health points. We'll talk more about that a little later. Kaga has a couple defining factors that set her apart from the other tech tree carriers. The first of which is 4 planes per attack run. Unlike most other nations carriers in the game, Kaga lets you launch a single attack with 4 torpedo or dive bombers at a time. This makes your alpha strike potentially pretty deadly, even if your munition strength doesn't quite add up to your tech tree counterpart. You're going to make up for it in pure numbers. The RNG of the torpedoes, it can get pretty spread out at times, so even bow tanking battleships can squeak through, but if you plan your attack wisely at a broadside target, the results can be quite satisfying. Number 2, when your match first starts in Kaga, the first thing you are going to notice is this: 24 of each plane type. Pretty nice, right? Compared to all the other Tier 7 tech tree carriers that only have 15, this big hangar is fantastic. And when you spec into plane regeneration as well, you can mostly have full strength squadrons throughout your matches if you are wise. 75-second stock plane regen, and with some perks put into it, we got it down to 53 seconds. The thing is though, this is completely 100% necessary for Kaga because your airplanes are made out of paper mache. Let's take a look at Lexington's dive bomber. A nice solid Douglas SBD Dauntless. These things are built like a tank, 2800 base health. Versus Kaga's Yokosuka Origami Specials, these babies have 1900 health. There is a good chance you will give a couple red team players a Clear Skies medal in your next Kaga match. These squadrons will disintegrate right before your eyes, and most attacks, even on a lone target that has good AA, such as an American battleship, will leave you only pulling off one full 4-plane attack, with the other one maybe being half strength by the time you circle back around. At best. Low AA targets though, that are alone, they're really going to hate you as you circle back around to give them the business with another 4 torpedoes, so when the opportunity arises, this can be great fun. Having so many aircraft though, it doesn't mean you can't get deplaned, so still try to play smart. If you're taking heavy losses, take the time to do a pre-drop, especially if you're heading for a pretty strong AA target like a enemy carrier with a combat air patrol, something like a Minotaur, an AA cruiser, or several enemies bundled together. A little bit of strategy can go a long ways. Number 3, accurate dive bombers. Just take a look at how closely we dive down to release our bombs. There is no doubt Kaga is definitely about the torpedo bombers, but the dive bombers shouldn't be discounted. The bombs hit for 9,000 base, falling behind Shikaku and the Lexington, but again, you get to drop 4 of them at a time, and with a decent fire chance of 53%, you can deal out some damage. They dive down low enough for you to take a whack at red team with your sword, and this makes it a little bit more deadly when you are attacking, well, what should be your number 1 focus to begin with: destroyers. Hunting them, spotting them, killing them should be your focus as a carrier, and it's going to make the biggest difference for your team in winning the match. So with these bombers, you can get down so low that it's easier to make adjustments on the fly to get your bombs to hit a target when they're maneuvering or something like that. Number 4, Stealthy Planes. Let's just check out this little visual for starters. This is base detection of torpedo bombers for all of the nations. And when you spec into it, even with my little level 12 Yamaguchi, the planes get down to 6.7 kilometers detectability. This makes it extremely nice in setting up attack runs. Your enemy will have less reaction time to turn in and bow tank your torpedo runs, or to start making hard maneuvers to thwart your dive bombers. I often found myself being able to approach ships, get pretty close, and still maneuver without them knowing I was there to make my attack runs more successful. On top of that, it can help you sneak up on those pesky destroyers a little better. They won't see you coming as easily, so they'll have less time to try to avoid the path that you're flying in. Even if they're just spotted for a brief couple seconds or a minute, it's enough to alert your teammates to where they are. So, stealthy aircraft is a huge plus. Number 5, aircraft speed. Now, they're not the fastest. They're not as fast as the German carrier, but going off of base number, these squadrons are pretty speedy, coming in just behind Parsifal, with both plane types. This allows your squadrons to move around the map a little faster, scouting, getting around, and with their stealth, again, it can help you set up some great attack runs. Also, with the faster aircraft, you can get your planes into the fight more readily, and potentially launch more strikes each match. The Kaga definitely seems to be a pretty solid aircraft carrier in Legends, and currently it resides in the Bureau, and it can be researched by you today if you were so inclined. Let me know what you guys think about her, especially you veteran carrier players. As some of you might know, this is my least played class of ships, out of destroyers, battleships, and cruisers, so I am really curious what the veteran carrier players think of her. And with that, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up on the video as it helps the channel greatly. Also be sure to subscribe for future videos and turn that notification bell to on. Alright, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.